My girlfriend cheated on me with my best friend, and I found out on my birthday. It all started on my 25th birthday. I had been dating Emily for about 3 years by then. Our relationship was fine. Nothing extraordinary, but it worked. My best friend Travis and I had been friends since we were kids. He was the kind of friend who was always there no matter what. If there was anyone in the world I trusted, it was him. Emily and Travis had known each other for a while, so it was normal that we all hung out together often. It didn't raise any suspicions at the time. Everything felt like it was supposed to until my birthday came around. I planned a party. Nothing fancy, just a few close friends, some drinks, music, and a good time. I sent out invitations to everyone, including Travis and Emily. When the night arrived, everything seemed perfect. People were laughing, dancing, and the energy was good. Nothing out of the ordinary. But then, something happened that I still can't shake from my mind. At some point during the party, I went into a room for a few minutes to take a breather. When I came back, I saw Travis and Emily standing together in the corner, talking quietly, standing way too close to each other. I didn't think much of it at the time, I just brushed it off. Maybe I was overthinking things. It was my birthday after all, and I didn't want to ruin the vibe by jumping to conclusions. The night continued. The drinks kept flowing and people kept partying. But there was this nagging feeling in the back of my mind. Something felt off. I couldn't figure out what exactly, but I felt like something wasn't right between them. When the party ended and everyone started heading home, I went to bed, exhausted but happy. But the next morning, something changed everything. I was cleaning up, picking up empty bottles and glasses when I saw Emily's phone lying on the kitchen counter. I didn't mean to snoop, but it was unlocked. It was like something inside me was telling me to look. I picked it up, swiped the screen, and then saw the messages. It was between Emily and Travis. They weren't anything overly explicit, but the tone, the way they spoke to each other, it wasn't normal. The messages were short and cryptic. Phrases like, "You sure?" and "We'll do it later." There was a lot more, but it was clear to me. The last message Emily sent him was, "See you tonight. Let's make sure he doesn't find out." I dropped the phone like it was on fire. My heart started racing. This couldn't be real, right? My best friend and my girlfriend? Behind my back? It didn't make sense. But everything I saw pointed in one direction. I had to confront them, but how and when? I walked around the house trying to process what I had just read. My mind was spinning and I couldn't focus. I was angry, hurt, confused. But above all, I felt betrayed. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but deep down, I knew it was happening. The last thing I wanted was to start accusing them without proof, but I couldn't shake the feeling. I thought about calling Emily, texting her, asking her, but no, I had to see it for myself. I needed to hear them say it to explain themselves. So I waited, and I stewed. But I was ready to face whatever came next. The entire day passed in a haze. I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen. Every time I closed my eyes, those messages replayed in my mind. "See you tonight." They weren't subtle about it. They weren't even trying to hide it. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. But the confusion was still there. How could they both do this to me? And how long had it been going on? The party felt like a lifetime ago. It wasn't just the betrayal that got to me, it was the fact that they had done it right under my nose. They'd both been there, acting like everything was normal while I was none the wiser. I kept thinking back to the way they'd been acting at the party, the way Travis was leaning in a little too close when they were talking, the way Emily smiled a little too much when he made a joke. I felt stupid for not noticing. I didn't want to confront them without proof, though. I didn't want to be that guy who jumped to conclusions, who made accusations without getting all the facts. But it didn't feel like a guess anymore. I felt like I already knew. I just needed them to admit it. So I waited. I wasn't about to confront either of them over text or a phone call. That wouldn't have felt real. I needed face to face. They needed to see how this was tearing me apart. Later that afternoon, I got a text from Emily. "Hey, can we talk tonight? I feel like we need to. We've been distant." My stomach twisted. She had no idea that I knew. She had no idea how much her words just made everything worse. She was acting like nothing had happened, like we were in the middle of some typical relationship disagreement. I sat on the couch staring at the message, my fingers hovering over my phone. I wanted to reply, but instead I closed it and threw my phone down. There was no way I was going to make it easy for her. I wanted the truth, not more lies. Around 6 p.m., Travis texted me. Yo, man, you good? Wasn't sure if you wanted to hang later. It's been a while. The casualness of it, the ease with which he was acting made my blood boil. He was acting like nothing had changed. He had no idea I had already seen the messages. I wanted to snap at him. Tell him everything. But I stopped myself. Not yet. I had to be careful with this. Instead of replying, I just stared at the screen, thinking about my next move. I didn't want to seem like I was putting the pieces together too soon, but I knew what I had to do. I needed to get them together. I needed to force the confrontation. I texted both of them at the same time, just simple, cold words. Meet me at my place in an hour. We need to talk. I sat back in the chair, breathing in deeply, my heart pounding. I didn't feel nervous. I felt furious, betrayed, and ready. But there was also a part of me that didn't want to deal with this. I wanted it to be a misunderstanding, some kind of glitch in the system. But I knew that wasn't going to happen. They'd both crossed the line. An hour later, the doorbell rang. It was them. Emily first, with that smile on her face, the same smile she always had when she was trying to make things seem okay. Behind her, Travis stood, his usual calm demeanor in place, like nothing was wrong. I wanted to scream at them both, but I kept my composure. I was done with being the clueless guy. Come in, I said coldly, stepping aside. They both walked in. Emily went to the couch, sitting down, looking around nervously, and Travis leaned against the doorframe like he always did, making small talk as if nothing had changed. All right, I started, trying to sound calm, but I could feel the rage bubbling just beneath the surface. I know everything. I saw the messages. I know what's been going on. I watched them both freeze. Emily's face turned pale, and Travis shifted awkwardly, his eyes darting away from mine. I felt a sick satisfaction, but I also knew this was just the beginning. They didn't speak at first. The silence stretched between us, uncomfortable and thick. I could see them trying to figure out how to play it off, but there was no way to cover this up. Not anymore. So, what now? I asked, keeping my voice steady, though I wanted to shout at them both. How long has this been going on? Was I just a fool the entire time? Emily opened her mouth to say something, but then closed it again. Travis cleared his throat, but there was no easy way out of this. I don't know how to explain it, Emily finally said, her voice shaking. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. It was a mistake. A mistake? I snapped, leaning forward. A mistake? You've been texting him behind my back for who knows how long, and that's just a mistake? Travis finally spoke up. Dude, I didn't mean for it to get to this point. It wasn't like... Shut up. I cut him off, my anger flaring. Both of you, don't try to make excuses. This isn't something that just happened. You both knew exactly what you were doing. I let the words hang in the air for a moment, letting them sink in. I wasn't going to let them manipulate me, not this time. I don't know what's worse, I continued, my voice cold. The fact that you both betrayed me, or the fact that you thought you could keep it from me forever? I trusted you, both of you. I stood up, feeling the rage surge through me. They were both silent, unable to defend themselves. They had nothing left to say. The silence in the room was suffocating. Neither Emily nor Travis said a word, and I could see their guilt in the way they wouldn't meet my eyes. I couldn't decide if I was more angry or just completely numb at that point. The weight of the betrayal was sinking in, but there was also this sense of clarity, like everything that had led up to this moment had been building, one small thing at a time, until it couldn't be ignored anymore. I turned away from them for a second, pacing in the small space of my living room. The anger was still burning, but now it was mixed with something else. A heavy, unsettling feeling. How had I let it get this far? How had I allowed myself to ignore the warning signs for so long? When I turned back, I saw them both sitting there, waiting for me to speak. I had to admit to myself that part of me had hoped they'd confess, that they would somehow show remorse or regret for what they had done. But there was nothing. No real apology, no acknowledgement of how deeply they'd hurt me. It was as if they thought they could just explain it away with a few simple words. I shook my head in disbelief. I don't want to hear any more excuses. There's no point in pretending this is something that can be fixed. You both had your chance. I looked directly at Travis. You're my best friend, or at least you were. But you knew. You knew how much I cared about her, how much I trusted you. And yet you still went behind my back. You betrayed me like she did. He opened his mouth to say something, but I held up my hand. Number, don't try to explain it. Don't try to justify it. It's done. I turned to Emily next, and my anger burned even more. And you? You were the one I was with. I thought I knew you, but now I see the truth. You don't give a damn about me. You never did. How could you? She opened her mouth again, but this time I didn't stop her. She started speaking, her words rushed and defensive, as if she was trying to protect herself from the inevitable fallout. Look, I never meant for it to go this far. She paused, trying to collect herself, but it was clear she wasn't getting through to me. It wasn't planned. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. Stop, I said, cutting her off sharply. You've already said enough. I don't want to hear it. The reality is it happened, and that's what I'm left with. The fact that you both chose this over everything I believed in. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. I couldn't let myself break down in front of them, not now. I had to stay strong, even if it meant shutting down every ounce of feeling I had left. I don't care if you two are sorry. You should have thought about that before. It's too late for apologies now. I felt a strange sense of detachment as I spoke. It was like I had already emotionally detached myself from them. They weren't my friends or my partner anymore, they were strangers. I had trusted them both, and they had chosen to betray me without a second thought. I'm done with this, I said, my voice a little quieter now. I don't need to be around people who are willing to throw everything away like it's nothing. So, you can leave. Now. I turned toward the door, motioning for them to go. I wasn't going to wait for them to decide. I didn't care how they felt or if they wanted to talk more. I wasn't going to give them that chance. Travis stood up slowly, his face still twisted in confusion, but he didn't say anything. He just grabbed his jacket and walked out the door. Emily followed right behind him, still trying to say something, but I didn't listen. I didn't need their explanations anymore. I had heard enough. When the door closed behind them, I sat down on the couch, feeling like I had just been hit by a freight train. I didn't know what to feel anymore. Anger, sadness, frustration, they all mingled together. But what hit me the hardest was the emptiness. There was no relief in the moment, no satisfaction. Just a hollow feeling that spread through me like a virus. I had lost two people I thought I could trust more than anyone else. I thought we had something real, something worth holding on to. But now I saw it for what it truly was. A facade. I pulled my phone from my pocket and looked at it, hesitating for just a moment before I typed out a message to my family. I needed them to know, to understand. I had to be done with the lies. I had to start over. I'm done with them. I found out everything. It's over. I sent the message and stared at the screen for a while, waiting for some kind of response, but I didn't really care if I got one. I didn't need their pity. I didn't need their advice. I just needed to move forward. The truth was out now, and there was no going back. The next few days felt like a blur. I didn't hear from Emily or Travis, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to. I spent most of my time just trying to process what had happened. I stayed home, kept to myself, and focused on work. The world kept turning, but everything felt different. Nothing felt the same. It wasn't until a week later that I got a call from Emily. I didn't pick up at first, but after a few rings, I felt my phone vibrate again. She had left a voicemail. I don't know what to say. I can't fix what I've done, but I wanted to apologize. I never meant to hurt you. Please call me back. The words rang in my head, but I didn't feel anything. It was too late. There was nothing she could say that would change anything. She had made her choice, and now I had to make mine. I deleted the voicemail without listening to the rest of it. I didn't want her back. I didn't want Travis back. I didn't want anything to do with either of them anymore. I had already made the decision. They were gone, and so was I. A few months passed. I kept my distance from everyone who reminded me of what had happened. I started new routines, met new people, and focused on the things that mattered to me. Life moved on, but I had learned something important from all of this. Trust wasn't something you could give away lightly, and once it was broken, it couldn't be fixed with words or apologies. I wasn't the same person I had been before, and I wasn't going to let anyone take advantage of me again. Not Emily, not Travis. No one. It was the end of one chapter, but for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was finally starting to write my own story. And this time, it was going to be one I could trust.